Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hello, welcome to another edition of On Deck, brought to you by Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I'm the host, Big B. I'm joined below us by the big dog, Greg. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you guys?
We're doing good. And
Tell
next
you what,
to me,
Rangers looking good, Chris.
Hey, yeah,
we'll
They
definitely
are.
get into that. Next to me is the working man. He likes his bacon crispy. So, crispy
Hey.
bacon, how you doing?
doing good. Yeah, Rangers are doing good too. Had some scary points the other day, but other than that, I think we're holding strong. Hopefully,
Yep, no doubt. Big moves. A few big names got moved, especially over there to Crispy's Rangers. Myself and Big Dog's teams kind of just sat back and didn't do a dang thing. I mean, we know the Cardinals are out of it, but the Twins had a chance to do something and they just did not want to do it. I don't know why, but granted, Cleveland started selling players, and then I think Detroit picked up a couple guys, and the Twins just sat there with their thumbs where they don't belong. And I don't know. I don't get it. I know we're a small market team, but and a lot of it had to do with Royce Lewis. I think from what I was reading, everybody wanted Royce Lewis, and Twins said no. But I don't know. Add a bat to the lineup. Twins, I hope, don't make the playoffs. Because they're going to lose.
No.
Central is going to lose that in the first round. So, Chris, what do you think about your Rangers? The only team that's winning right now.
consistently.
Stud pitcher. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy for the moves we made. I mean, we should have had more, but I mean, you already had DeGrom and all those other players. Seems like the Rangers like acquiring Mets players. I don't know why, but hey, I mean, so far it's kind of working out. But
Yep.
real scary moment Thursday with Scherzer out there. I think in his first, time pitching, he was pretty much outscored 3-0 against Chicago.
Yep.
But kind of cleaned it up, got the win. So hopefully no more scares.
Yeah, Scherzer is going to be your guy. I think he's going to come in with that veteran leadership, the playoff know-how. Rangers should make a pretty decent run with him there. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah.
I think right now the Rangers have a problem that most teams would love to have. They're going to probably head into the playoffs with about 7 decent starting pitchers. So if they keep basically all the guys that are considered starters and keep them, they're going to have one heck of a bullpen, So could you imagine having Scherzer kind of as a middle reliever in like a championship series or something? So it's nice to have those extra arms. That's a luxury that most teams don't have. And so I think that with the Rangers, they got a Rookie of the Year candidate in Young at third base. John Gray has been pitching really well. I expect him to pitch well again today. And then adding Scherzer, getting Seager back. This is just a team that's looking good. It's going to be a tight race. I think the Astros made some really good moves too at the trade deadline. So I think this is going to be a neck and neck race to the end. But I don't know. I think both teams in that division are going to be a tough out. So, but I think the Rangers are definitely heading in the right direction. With about 40 games left.
Yeah, Greg kind of touched on the division races. All but the NL East is up for grabs. Unless Philly turns it around and the Marlins step up, Braves are walking into the playoffs. They could start, probably September, kind of setting up their rotation for the postseason. They can start getting these guys the days off. I mean, even the playoff races, I think, are coming down to the wire. You know, Seattle's still in the hunt. You know, not Mets. Cubs are making a run. So I think the playoff races are going to be, very fun to watch. This is part of the year I like. I like middle of August, September playoff baseball because everybody's out there, especially if the races are close. So, but guys, we talked about Scherzer getting traded. I gotta say, he's got to be one of the luckiest agents around because now I believe it's him or Verlander, and I'm pretty sure it's Scherzer that's getting paid by 3 different teams this year. Because of his contract situation. So, not a bad job to have, I guess. So, the Angels are holding off a decision on Ohtani's next start. He's been leaving the game early with cramps, but still been hitting. So, Greg, what do you think about that?
I think that, with the moves that they made at the trade deadline, picking up all those key free agents, picking up CJ Cron, I think that, I think he's due for maybe a day off if needed. I think that the Angels are still in the mix. I think they're 5.5 out of the wild card. I don't think they're going to catch the Astros or the Rangers, to lead that division when it's all said and done. But I think that if you can keep him in the lineup, at least as a hitter, maybe give him a night off, from a pitching standpoint, I think that they can get away with it for one night. It's not like they're winning every single game that he goes out anyways, and they've blown a few of his awesome opportunities, to win a game late in the game. So I think that they got enough firepower in their lineup. They can give them a night off or just let them hit. I think that is something that they can just take a little bit of precaution so that he doesn't get injured at this point.
Yep. Chris, what about you? What do you think?
About the division races?
No, about Ohtani getting Angels not knowing when Ohtani is going to pitch again.
Sadly, I think it's the final days of Ohtani and with the Angels. I kind of figured they weren't going to trade him though, but at the same time, I think this is probably the end. And as long as they're in a race, maybe for a playoff spot, I could see him coming back. But if they're not, maybe they'll just sit him off and on. Maybe play 2 or 3 more starts. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can't say that's going to be the final days of him in Anaheim because they made some big moves to kind of convince him that they want to win. The start thing, I kind of think it's a smart move. Just let him hit here and there and let him get healthy because I think right now I think he's the consensus MVP. Unless something major happens. Cy Young Award winner, definitely I don't think is in his grasp, but getting back to the races, Baltimore's up on 2, Tampa, Minnesota's above Cleveland by 2.5. The Rangers are 1.5 above Houston. Like we said, the NL East Braves are 12.5 up. That's pretty much just a lock, I think. Milwaukee's a half a game up on the Cincinnati, 2.5 up on the Cubs, and the Dodgers are 3.5 up on San Fran. So, Greg, let's talk about the Central there. Cubbies kind of making a fit. Cincinnati hanging around, Brewers hanging around. I know you're not a fan of any of those teams being a Cardinals fan, but what do you think's going to happen there?
Well, that's my favorite division minus the Pirates. I do like most teams in the division, and it is exciting to see Cincinnati playing at such a high caliber because there wasn't huge. Actually, there was hardly any expectations at all this year. I think that with the Brewers definitely probably have a little bit more of an advantage if their pitching staff is healthy. When you got Woodruff, Burns, Ray out there, your top three starters, and then you got Peralta in there. I think the edge goes to the Brewers as far as from a pitching standpoint. But Abbott's been pitching really well for the Reds. Ashcraft's been giving them some decent innings. Lively hasn't been pitching that great as of late for the Reds, but the Reds have a lot of pop in their lineup. They have guys that can get a lot of stolen bases. They can generate a lot of runs. And then the Cubs, they've made a few good moves at the trade deadline. Bellinger's looking like his old self. I mean, Bellinger hasn't looked this good in about 5 years, 4 or 5 seasons. Ian Happ's hitting the ball well. Dansby Swanson's having a very consistent year again. The Cubs have some decent star power. Hendricks is usually pretty steady on the mound. Stroman had been pitching pretty well this year. So I think that it's going to come right down to probably the last week. I still maybe give the edge to the Brewers just because they seem to have a little bit more depth in their pitching rotation. Burns has been pretty much unhittable the last 4 or 5 weeks of this season. But I mean, it's going to be a pretty good 3-way race. I don't think that the Brewers are going to run away with it. I don't think the Reds are really going to run away with it. I think the Cubs are going to stay right there. I think that when it's all said and done, all 3 of those teams are probably going to be less than about 4 games of each other, between third and first.
Well, Chris, how about you? The NL Central with the Cubs, Cincy, and the Brew Crew all hanging around.
Man, that's 3 teams that are kind of scary in that division. Kind of pulling for the Cubs, but I like all 3 teams. It's going to be a race, and there's only 1 month to go, 1 or 2 months to go. So it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'd like to see Cincy do it. I mean, all 3 of the teams right now are just playing good. It just seems like every year, and Greg, you might agree or disagree, the Cubs and Brewers, if they start off hot, they cool off, they miss the playoffs. Or after the All-Star break, they heat up, they get in the race, they fall short, or they kind of sneak into the playoffs. So I'd like to see Cincy do it. They got a lot of young guns there. But it's definitely going to be a nice battle for the end of the season, which, again, I love this time of the year. So, Hamill just announced yesterday that he's going to retire. Was a great Philly for a few years there. So, Greg, what's your thoughts on Hamill? Hall of Fame, not Hall of Fame? I mean, what's your thoughts on his career?
Well, as far as Cole Hamill, I don't think that he quite hit the benchmark for the Hall of Fame. I think that he was a steady pitcher. I think that he was most times a well above average pitcher. He had awesome breaking ball stuff. He had awesome off-speed pitch. He could keep you off balance. He had a great postseason when the Phillies won the World Series. The guy, I think he had a no-hitter or 2. So maybe just 1, but when he was on, I mean, he was lights out. There was times in his career they got roughed up if he left some pitches hanging and everything, but overall he was a very consistent pitcher. He was a durable pitcher. He didn't miss a ton of time, so you could count on him to make most of his starts or planned starts. But I think that his numbers fall just a little bit short of Cooperstown. I don't think that he quite hit the benchmark for what he needed as far as wins versus losses. I don't think his strikeout numbers were incredibly high. I do think that he was a good pitcher that had excellent control, didn't walk a lot of guys. And he was just a very good guy to have in your lineup and be able to plug in when you needed him. And in the postseason, he could start, he could come in relief. It didn't matter. He didn't seem to be unfazed. But I think he had a really good career, a very solid career. But I don't think it was Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, Chris, I know you probably saw most of his career if you paid.
I've heard a little bit of it, yeah.
But I agree with Greg. I think he'll be one of those guys that'll probably get in. If he does get in, it'll be the 15th, 17th ballot. He might get in with the new committee that puts people in. He'd probably get in for sure if he had another ring, maybe a Cy Young. I know he finished in like the top 10 every year that he was up for the Cy Young. But yeah, consistent pitcher. Definitely would have loved to see him, on my team. Definitely, could bring some bolster. But good luck to him. Good luck on what he does. Possibly coaching or in the booth somewhere. But that was shocking. Also in the news, I kind of posted it yesterday. No shock. Byron Buxton's on the DL again, but
yeah, you're like breaking news.
Yeah. It's just they're saying 2 to 3 weeks that they're gonna. At this point, if it's gonna be 2-3 weeks, you're looking at September. Just sit them down. Maybe give them some at bats here and there. But yeah, so I'd say just sit them down, let them get healthy. You're still in the playoff run, so you want to get that bat out there. But he might turn into he might be a great player, great defensive player. But how good is his glove when he can't play the outfield? I mean, Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that if Nintendo was to redo their Mike Tyson's boxing game, I think that they should make a character called Brian Buxton and change him to Mr. Glass. I think at this point, he's just super athletic. I mean, over the last couple of years, he was very athletic, making awesome plays out in the outfield. He seemed to be kind of on the. He seemed to be just a couple hairs behind Acuna as far as base stealing, and his prowess out in the outfield. But he had a lot of pop. He kind of showed a lot of promise as kind of a potential 40-40 guy or a 30-30 guy. And he's just a guy that right now can't stay in the lineup. I think that he still has a lot of potential, but right now staying healthy is a concern. And someone wonder, is it something they're doing in workouts? Is it something, are they not drinking water? Are they not working out the right way? Is something wrong with their routine that's causing them to keep getting injured?
I think Greg froze, but no, Greg, if you're still there, you're right. I mean, Minnesota reports here that a lot of fans are saying that it's the training staff. They need to fire the training staff to get
consistent.
To a point,
was staying in the lineup.
Yeah, but yeah, to the point is that training staff can only do so much. I mean, you get freak injuries. I mean, we all get them. We just play it up. But it might be, I like Buxton, but who knows what his career is going to hold. Chris, what do you think? Buxton.
Hopefully, it does. Hold up. Injuries are kind of, they would say freak injuries, but I mean, you try to stay as healthy as possible.
Yep.
You do the things you do to stay healthy. Doesn't always mean it's going to work, but it's kind of one of those preventative measures. Hopefully, he can come back stronger and healthier and at least keep his career going.
Yeah. No, he'll be around. I mean, that's one positive about the DH rule is that, anybody can do it. You can sit there, but for him to just be a DH, he's getting kind of overpaid. So we'll see where that goes. So, outside of that, we got a month and a half left of the season till playoffs start. Just looking at some updates here. We got a couple games going on right now. Astros Yankees just started. Two teams I don't care to win, so I don't know. Let them play 30 innings. I don't care. Then you got the Rays and Tigers. Hopefully the Rays win. I'd like to see them, keep going. Starting off here at the top of the hour, looks like we got Braves Cubs. That should be a great series. And then 3:00 games, you got the Marlins and the Rangers, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Nationals, and Cincinnati. Chris's National League MVP or World Series team, Nationals, are going to fall short of the playoffs this year, just like the Royals. So,
Hey, I could hope. I'm just kidding.
yeah, maybe next year. So,
I just didn't think the Rangers weren't going to do anything this year. That's kind of how I kind of figured.
Yep. No, the Rangers are I right now
I'm
I
sorry,
go Rangers. I go Rangers, Braves in the World Series. I kind of like to see Baltimore, but I think the Rangers are going to overtake them. So, hey, Greg, I don't. We talked about this last night at Four Bros. Do you know what the 30th anniversary was yesterday, August 4th?
The 30th anniversary?
Yeah.
I don't think.
What's that?
I don't think so.
I'll give you a hint. A pitcher got 4 hits off a batter.
Was it Tony Gwynn?
No. It was Nolan Ryan punching the face of Robin Ventura 4 straight times.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I mentioned the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, they
Nolan Ryan took care of Ventura. He didn't do quite as well when he tried to get into it with Big Dave Winfield.
Yeah. No, but with Ventura, I still laugh every time I see that clip. And, of course, it came up again. And, headlocked him. Got 4 or 5 punches in on him before the.
I heard an interesting thing that the Chicago White Sox were going to find anybody that didn't charge the mound on Nolan Ryan. They got plugged at the plate, right? And so I'm wondering how bad someone's financial status had to be, when you're getting paid millions of dollars to play baseball, that you're charging the mound for $500. But
but the thing is Ventura was what, second year or third year in the league, so he's still a young pup there, so he wasn't making too much there.
Yeah, but I still think that he could afford it to just get his ass to first base and not worry about it.
Yeah, how do you rush them out on a legend? But yeah, no, it always cracks me up. That one, and then the other brawl, I think it was Boston and Red Sox when not Lou Piniella, who was it? Former Cardinals coach that kind of fell over as he tried to swing at Martinez.
Oh, Don Zimmer?
Yeah, Don Zimmer. Yeah, when he kind of fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones kind of. All right, so looking at the standings here. Greg, what's up, Chris?
I was going to say, I remember, what was it, Rangers, Blue Jays? There's like a punch. I can't think of the play.
Oh, at second base with
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you are. Oh, I've seen the still shot of that, and I think it's the Ranger player. Yeah, his jaw was way over here. Yeah, I see the still of that. So let's start talking a little awards here. So, Greg, American League MVP. I mean, is it hands down Ohtani?
It's got to be Ohtani. I mean, he's still, hammering the ball, even with his cramping issues and stuff right now. He's still playing lights out baseball. He's got high numbers for home runs, RBIs, high strikeout rate. Two-way player. I mean, I don't really see anybody right now kind of in his way, as long as he can stay in the lineup for at least 2/3 of the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I mean it might be a long shot unless Bouchette and Diaz start dropping. Ohtani is 11 percentage points away from winning the batting title, so Bouchette's leading that with 321. So unless Ohtani gets it going or Bouchette drops, I don't think he's going to get the Triple Crown because he's up there. He's 6 away from the RBI, but yeah, he's a mile away from the home run. It's 40 home runs, and then Robert Jr. the White Sox has 29. So, Chris, AL MVP, you feel it's Ohtani, or you got another name you might want to throw out there?
I think it's gotta be Ohtani.
Yeah. So let's see here. What do we got? Cy Young Award winner. Kind of looking at the stats here. Greg, who do you think can walk away with the Cy Young?
For the American League, I think that I think right now, I hate to say it because I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but Garrett Cole's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Garrett Cole, 2.64 ERA, 10 wins. I mean, unless you get it to Eflin in Tampa Bay, but I don't know what his ERA is off right now. Let's see. So Eflin's ERA is. Why can't I find it? Let's do it this way. His ERA is a 3.46. I mean, back in the day, that was great. I mean, low threes, high twos were pretty decent. 21 starts, 12 quality starts, 12-6 win. So yeah, that would be something there. I could see. Chris, who do you got? AL Cy Young.
We'll go Garrett Cole.
Yeah. I think it's Cole. I mean,
Former Ranger.
Yeah. I mean, Sonny Gray's kind of been in the talk. I mean, Joe Ryan, who's now hurt. But yeah, I think it's going to be Cole. Greg, NL MVP. Who are you thinking?
I think he's going to win 2 awards. I think it's going to be Comeback Player of the Year and MVP. I think it's going to be Acuna. He's putting up excellent numbers on base for the 40-40. Every time he gets on, he's getting a stolen base. It seems like, so he's a dual threat. He's got the power, he's got the speed. So I'm kind of leaning towards Acuna at this point.
Yeah, he's got a ways to go for 40-40. 15 away, he could do it. I mean, but he's at 51 stolen bases right now, which is just amazing. I love the fact that the stolen base is back. So, Chris, NL MVP.
I'm not quite sure. It could be.
I'm with Greg. It's. I mean, it could be. It could be Acuna Jr. I mean, that's not the sexy pick. Maybe you go Freeman. I mean, Freeman's doing decent. Matt Olson from the Braves could possibly do it. Greg, you're Cy Young for right now for the NL.
Well, he's missed some time, but he's my favorite pitcher in the National League. And I think that he should be considered even on the injured list for a while. Corbin Burns has been pitching fantastic baseball as of late. I know his numbers might not be quite as flashy as someone that hasn't missed any starts or hasn't been laid out as long as he has, but I would put Corbin Burns in there. I think that he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, 22 starts, 15 quality starts. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 3.44 ERA. You're looking at 6-9 record, 133 innings. So, great. Chris, who do you think in the AL?
I'm going to agree with Greg. on
Okay.
his pick. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. If the Cubs keep winning, I'm gonna go steal. I'm gonna go steal for the Cubs. I mean, 20 starts, 14 quality, 12-3 record, 2.65. But I think they need to stay hot. I think they definitely need, because if they fall off, that means he's not pitching good or decent. So I'll go steal with the Cubs. Just put up phenomenal numbers. I mean, so we'll definitely see where that goes. Greg, your surprise team. Let's do good. Let's do a good surprise team right now for the year.
I think the biggest surprise team to me is the probably the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, when they came into the season, they were right above the Pirates as far as in that division, and them being right at the top right now, and with all their prospects that they have, and then their rookie sensation Ellie De La Cruz coming in and lighting the world on fire, especially the first few weeks of the season with his home runs and his stolen bases. So I'd say that the Reds are a pretty pleasant surprise,
Okay.
and it's good that they're going to be in the mix for a playoff spot this year.
I did forget that. Rookie of the year. I mean, we could do NL. I think it's Cruz. I doubt that it's going to be anybody else. He might not have that bad, so he might not qualify, but
I think it's be Corbin Carroll for the Diamondbacks. I think that he's been playing all season long. I think that's the only thing that's going to hold De La Cruz back is he's going to have near the body of work as Carroll. Carroll's got 25 home runs, I think, and everything. So he's played the whole season. So he's got a lot more experience.
Yeah, that most likely will be true. In the AL, is it Chris's guy over there in Texas there, Greg?
Part of me is leaning towards Chris's guy, but since Big Bad Isaiah went out on the limb and said that he's the best prospect since Fred McGriff, I kind of want to go against Isaiah's grain. Anybody that's going to pay $18 for 8 ounces of orange juice, I have to disagree with him, even if he might possibly be right this one time. So I'm going to throw. I wouldn't count Gunnar Henderson out, but I think that Matt Zataka from the Red Sox might give Young a run for his money. So at this point, I think it's between Young and Matt Zataka. But for the sake of arguing with the Orange Juice King, I'm going to go with Matt Zataka.
Yeah, Chris, I know we talked about your guy, but what do you think for AL Rookie of the Year?
We'll go the player in Texas.
Yeah, I gotta go Young. I mean, I get, anytime you put, Mr. Isaiah, Orange Juice King, as Greg likes to call him, puts money on a guy or money on a team, you bet against it. But I cannot, and you guys could quote me on this at 3 minutes or 34 minutes into the show. I cannot see Isaiah being wrong on this one. I just don't. I don't see it. So, but he did say said he wants to put 25 on the Rangers to win the World Series. So he might be wrong there. So, but Chris, you're surprised.
Hey, that's about 13 glasses of orange juice that he could have.
Yeah, exactly. So, Chris, your surprise team for the American League for good.
Surprise team?
Yep, a good one. Somebody figured was going to finish last, but kind of stepped up.
We'll go Tampa.
Okay. For me, in the AL, they came on last year. I gotta go Baltimore. I really want to see them go far. I think they, knocked on the door last year in the playoffs, and now they're gonna, kick it in, as most people would say. So, Greg, let's go on the bad side for the AL, the team that you thought was going to be there, but kind of fell off.
Let's see. They're picking up a little bit of steam right now, but a team that I thought was going to be a lot better at this point than they are, even though they're not terrible, is the Seattle Mariners. I thought that after last year they made the playoffs, that they were going to keep going and start out strong and stay strong, and they got off to a kind of bad start. Didn't they had the high strikeouts from Rodriguez? They weren't really gelling. Kellenic wasn't really playing good ball. They kind of slipped off for a while. They're starting to get it back together again now. I don't know if it's too late, but I think the Mariners is a team that I'm a little bit disappointed in this year, because I thought that the way they left last season that they would just carry that momentum, and they didn't.
Gotcha. Chris, your thoughts? Your surprise bad team.
Baltimore?
Surprise bad team?
Oh,
Baltimore's leading.
no.
Somebody you thought was going to do good, like your Kansas City Royals, that ended up failing.
I'm not sure.
Hey, they're on like a 7-game win streak.
Yeah, 3 of them against the Twins. Okay, Chris. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I know I could get slapped in the face for this and a lot of bad comments. I really thought Oakland was going to be a decent team. I know they were going to finish last, but I got to say that they shocked me, and I didn't think they could get any worse. They just aren't out there to play ball. I figured they were going to have the major league model that they're going to come in and everybody's counting them out, and they would put up some fights there, but I know they had a stretch of 6 games I think they won, but there's just no heart there. They got nothing there. Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in Oakland. So, All right, Greg, let's go to the AL. Your surprise AL team for the good.
For the good, I'm gonna go with.
Oh yeah, I'll be done.
I wouldn't say they're good, but they're playing above expectations. I think that they're scrappy. They come and play hard every night. They don't win more often than they lose. But I would probably put the Detroit Tigers as a team that's not as bad as they could have been or they were projected to be. So I think that the Tigers. They're not quite packing it in yet. They're still playing with a lot of heart. They're still playing with a lot of fire. They still have some guys out there that are coming out and pitching some good games, and Rodriguez and Manny. And so they're a fun team to watch. They're kind of remind me of the Cincinnati Reds, where they come and play and they're always scrappy. Unfortunately, they're not winning as many games as the Reds have, but they're just a team that isn't doing as poorly as I thought that they might have.
Okay. No, I like that. So, okay, let's go to the NL side. Greg, let's go NL. Your good surprise team on the AL side. NL side.
Well, the Cincinnati Reds is a team that is doing good. I'd have to put the Diamondbacks in for most of this season too. They were a pretty good surprise team, a young, scrappy team that came together, put the bat on the ball, generated a lot of runs. Not a huge amount of hard contact in that lineup, but they generated a lot of runs. So those two teams right there, the Diamondbacks and the Reds, are teams that I thought are playing.
I got you, Chris. NL, the National League side, your good surprise team.
I'll go 2. I'll go, of course, Texas, and then I'll go Cincinnati.
Yeah, I can't disagree with the Cincinnati take. I could even throw in, the Braves. I know, yes, everybody's like, well, they're 12 games out there. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I thought the AL East was going to be a battle. So maybe it's just the fact that the division's crappy, but yeah, Cincinnati's definitely, even the Cubbies you could throw in there. So, all right, Greg, let's go to the bad side of it for the NL. Who's your surprise bad team?
That's a tough one because the teams that were kind of projected not to do good are right where they're supposed to be now. The
Yep.
Pirates were a surprising team for the first half, and now they've dropped back
Yep.
to reality. The Nationals are doing, they're right at the bottom,
Yep.
where they predicted. I'm going to go out on a limb, and even though the expectations weren't high and they were supposed to be bottom, one of the bottom dwellers, when I looked at this team and now they've gotten rid of some guys, I still thought with Bryant, CJ Cron, Freeland in the pitching rotation, Charlie Blackmon, I thought that the Rockies was a team that could have made some moves and made a pretty good run, and they're just a disappointing team year in and year out. They have talent. They've had talent come through through the years, and they just don't seem to make do with what they have. And so I know that they didn't have huge expectations. I know that the ball leaves the yard a lot in Coors Field, but the Rockies this season and for many, many seasons that I've watched the Rockies, they're just a team that just doesn't seem to ever put together anything comparable to what they should be putting out there. I think that the Rockies should always be about 10 more games or more than what they do, but they don't.
Yep, they haven't had a good team since Larry Walker and Bichette and Galarraga, I believe. So, Chris, your NL surprisingly bad team.
I'll go with Greg's pick. I'm trying to go with the list. I can't. We'll go with Greg's pick.
Colorado now, but I got to go San Diego because they kept retooling and, and you can throw the Mets in there too, but I'm happy the Mets suck. So, but San Diego, I mean, they bring the guys in. They got their big three. They got a nice stud, pitching staff. Just don't seem like they can get it together.
The Padres would be about 20 games over 500 if the games were only 5 innings. I'll just say that.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, they're Achilles heel could be that bullpen, but yeah, I mean, heck, they're 54 and 46. If they played in the Central, they'd be second right now behind the Twins. So
yeah, when you're up 3-2 or 4-2. Yep. In the start of the 8th inning, and then you lose 10-5. I mean, that tells you a lot. And it's not just one game; it's happened many, many times this season.
Oh no, I totally get you, and I've seen that. So, guys, with that being said, I don't have nothing. I don't think there's any big games to talk about that we missed this week. But Greg, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that the NL Central is going to be the race to watch for the rest of the baseball season. I mean, it seems like every game, every day, you're going to have a potential new leader, even if it's just by half a game. But it's going to be very exciting. I think that it's going to be a very exciting end of the baseball season. Football's right around the corner, so we got a lot of excitement.
Yep.
Coming in. We just had the NFL Hall of Fame game, but I'm looking forward to the end of the baseball season. I think that even though the Braves are kind of running away with their division, don't count out the Phillies. Don't count out the Phillies. I think that they're going to make a push for, they'll probably make a deep push again this year. They'll get into the playoffs. So I think that the playoffs are going to be competitive, even though the Braves are kind of walking away record wise. So I think that we're going to see a pretty good end of the season. My pick for the World Series is going to be the Braves versus the Orioles.
I like it. I like that one a lot. Chris, your final thoughts.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride finishing up the baseball season. Football season's kind of here with preseason action this week. Hall of Fame's going on right now. We had the game Thursday. College football is shaking up. Lot of stuff going on.
Yep. Again, my final thoughts is whoever wins the Central, it might be a fun race to watch. Ain't going nowhere because neither team, nobody from the Central deserves, unless the Tigers can surprise people get in. No team from the Central deserves to get in. So
one of the main reasons I don't think that the Rangers are going to win the World Series is because Bochy only wins in even number of years. So I think next year might be the year.
Yeah, I like how people throw that stat out there, but
Yeah.
keep checking out C2C tomorrow. Morning Tailgate returns for our second preseason episode. We'll talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame, but we got some stuff packed in for that. My World Series pick, I like the Orioles. I like the Braves. I could see Texas, but I'll put money down. Hopefully, Braves and Orioles in the World Series. So, with that being said, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Greg. We'll see y'all next week on Deck. Have a good night.